All right, hello everyone. This is Ivan here, and this time I'm going to be reviewing the Huawei Pro 3 versus the Fitbit Charge 3. These two just recently came out. I think it hasn't been longer than a month since these two came out, and I do have a couple interesting things. If you may have noticed, I'm actually wearing those two watches right now on my right wrist. I've used this two for at least 1 week. Clearly not on the same wrist. Both I did wear the Fitbit Charge 3 on my left wrist all this time, and I just clearly just put it here just for the review. But I really wanted to kind of like do a really honest review. I've been looking online, and based on a few reviews that I've seen for the Charge 3. I do have some things that I agree with these reviewers and some that I do not agree with. The Band 3 Pro, I think since it just came out, I haven't really seen that many reviews, and honestly, kind of like waiting to see what other people do, especially professional reviewers. I'm not a reviewer at all. I don't do this too much, but I do like to help out the community at times and just do really honest reviews on things that I noticed and things that I like. I'm really not a super into tech, but I'm really curious about new things that come out, and this came out, and I was always looking for the next fitness tracker to come out, so I could utilize them on my daily basis. I am by no means a sports person or a fitness person. I do regularly go at times to I play some sports, soccer mostly, but I'm not a heavy duty fitness or sport fan or anything like that. Just a normal guy that just likes to go out and tracks their steps. I want to see how I'm sleeping and things like this. So these two came in handy this week. Been using this, like I said. I've been looking for a replacement for my Fitbit Flex 2, which I actually have the box here, and actually just bought a brand new one for somebody else that wanted it. They wanted to give it a try, so I was going to give it to them just because that's the one that I had for about the last year and a half. Unfortunately, it went bad. There was no way to fix it. I contacted Fitbit, and they were kind enough to give me 40% discount on any other device that I wanted to buy from their website, excluding the Charge 3. Clearly, they were not that nice enough because the Charge 3 had just came out, but I didn't use that discount. But I think it was nice from them that said, okay, you have a 1-year warranty, but we'll clearly not cover anymore, but we'll give you some discount. So it was nice what they tried to do, but if I would have got a discount for the Charge 3, I would have definitely bought them from them. But that was not the case because that didn't have any type of discount at all. But anyways, mostly, like I said, very honest review on this too. I'm going to start really quick on the boxes and whatever it's inside. So as you can see, the Pro 3 is a very compact box. Inside you can even see, you have the watch here, you can even see there. I'm really not going to open it at all, but inside you'll see the very small micro USB cable and the this really small charger, which I think is very convenient. And compared to the Fitbit Charge 3, this Charge 3, it has a cable, it comes with a cable, but it's embedded to it. You can't do anything to it. And this cable is really annoying. It's only 2 feet long. When you try to charge your Fitbit, clearly it's not going to be long enough for you to put it on the wall and just have it on your desk or on your table at night or anything like that. It's really annoying, and the fact that it's attached to it is fixed. You cannot put anything else there. Where here on the Band 3 Pro, you can even just put whatever cable you have. Clearly, it's 21st century. It's 2018, and who doesn't have a micro USB cable at home that they can use that's long enough for them to use on the table? So that's a good plus there for the Band 3 Pro. that they have in the box, but there's nothing else, absolutely nothing else. Of course, clearly the instructions and some warning labels and things like that. The Fitbit Charge 3, however, not only comes with the charging cable, but it also comes with, I think it says it's somewhere in here. Yep, it comes with small and right here, small and large bands or wristbands for your watch. I'm actually wearing the small one. I don't happen to have a very big wrist, so I think that came in handy for some people that are not really that skinny or slim as I am. I think it comes in handy pretty well. So that was kind of like the main difference between the two boxes and whatever accessories come with it. The next thing that I wanted to discuss was the design or the aesthetics. As you can see right here, So as you can see right here, I'm actually wearing those two right now. And the first thing that you will notice right away is that the Fitbit, it's a little bit thicker. Which means that clearly the Huawei, it's slimmer, it's sleeker, and it looks much better. So I think overall, the aesthetics and the design is much better on the Huawei Pro 3. Also, I don't know if you can notice that well, but right here, the Fitbit looks like it's sticking out of your wrist, which is something that I really, really don't like that much. Even though right here it seems kind of flat, but if you turn it the angle, make it seem that it's not curved enough, so it will do a perfect circle around your wrist. It's more like it's something sticking out. It's the band wrist is going right away, and at that point, then it's just flat, and then it goes back. So I think it's not as rounded as it should be compared to the Huawei Pro 3. So as far as the design, I think the Huawei takes the advantage here. Also, the Fitbit 3, you have to tap it twice to turn on the screen, and you have this fake button on the side. Looks like something that you can place your charger on, but on top of that, it has a good functionality where you just press it and you turn on the screen. You can also do a lot of things with this, but I'll get to that just a few more minutes when I talk about the features. But here on the Huawei, you can just tap right here. There's kind of like a fake button right there embedded within the AMOLED screen, and you can easily get that screen to pop up. Also, one more thing that you may have noticed is the Huawei Pro 3 he has this color screen compared to the Fitbit 3 that does not. So I think on the design, on the features, the design and the overall aesthetics of the actual watch, I think it's much better, the Huawei. And in particular for me, it's because I like my wearables to be almost unperceivable, or something that people are not going to be really calling attention to myself just because I'm wearing something else. So for me, it's all about low profile. It's all about keeping it to yourself. And I think the Huawei does a better job as far as being simple enough so you can wear it, you can glance at it, look at your time, your notifications and things like that, without even showing any signs that, hey, look at my watch, this is what I have, that kind of thing. So I think on that aspect, the Huawei takes the lead. Another thing is the features that I wanted to talk about. So as you may have noticed, the very first feature that you may have noticed here is the color screen, which kind of like talks about the same thing as the design. But in general, these all have the exact same features. I can even spend like 30 minutes going over every single feature, but I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm just going to show some things that one has in advantage to the other. One of the things that I do like about my Huawei Pro 3 is it has the settings features right here that if you don't know where your phone is, I don't know if you can tell, it says find my phone. So if you can tap there, it will tell you exactly, it will actually make a sound and vibrate. If you're one of those people that like to keep your phone on mute or vibrate because you're really annoyed by notifications and repetitive sounds, then that feature is really good, because if you happen to misplace your phone or put it somewhere where you don't know where it is, even if you have another phone and you try to call yourself, you won't recognize it. This feature will help you out find your phone. Even if it's on mute, it will actually make a really loud noise and you can find it. That feature doesn't come with the Fitbit Charge 3. But one of the good things about the Fitbit Charge 3 is it's fully touchscreen, so you can go back and forth, left and right, as opposed to the Huawei. The Huawei will only let you go up and down. And it doesn't really let you interact as well with the Huawei as you can with the Fitbit, because it has a few options here. You can go back and forth, and you can go left and right, right here. You can go back, or you can press a button to go back. So I think as far as functionality on the actual screen, the Fitbit Charge 3 is fully touchscreen, as opposed to the Huawei, which is kind of like up and down, scroll up and down kind of thing. So just keep that in mind. As far as features, I think that's all. I mean, you can really look into the specs. Really not going to spend more than a couple minutes just going over these features. But I think in general, I'll give Fitbit the win on this one, just because I've used it. Like I said, I'm not really into fitness, not really into many things. And one of the advantages, to go back to the Huawei, one of the advantages of this one is it has a built-in GPS, which I haven't personally used it because I'm not a runner. I don't do those morning runnings like a few people do, and that's the most part, or the main reason why they want to get a fitness tracker. I'm more like a person that, I just want to keep track of my steps daily, whatever calories are burned, how much I've slept, what's the quality of my sleep. At the same time, without having to worry about a wearable that's going to die within 1 or 2 or 3 days. So I think these two do a pretty good job as far as battery life. I haven't really have any issues with them. The battery life seems to hold its charge for up to 7 days, which is a really good thing. I wish it was much longer than that, but I think technology is not at that point just yet. But 7 days is good enough for you to wear it and don't really worry about that you're wearing a watch at the end of the day. And going back to that, I think there was a point that I forgot to mention on the design portion, just because I know it might seem like a minor thing for you guys, but when you're sleeping, especially wearing two watches, clearly just because the Fitbit is bulkier, thicker, and longer, it's kind of annoying that you really know when you're wearing that Fitbit. The other one, it's almost imperceptible. You cannot really feel that you're wearing it at times. Even sometimes I have to touch my right wrist because I thought that I lost it. So that's another thing that I wanted to mention. When you're sleeping, it gets a little bit annoying, the fact that you know that you're wearing a Fitbit, but you wouldn't know that you're wearing this when you're trying to go to sleep. Another thing that I wanted to mention as far as the features is, when you have to twist wrist to turn on the screens, sometimes at night it's a little bit annoying because you get that bad light that's coming right at you. Even when you're like, you don't even want to look at your watch, you're just moving around and trying to position yourself as you're sleeping. It's a little bit annoying. So for that, I think Fitbit did a very good job as far as making sure that you can turn on and off that feature pretty easily from the watch itself. On the Huawei Band Pro 3, you need to go back to the application and turn that on and off from there. On the Fitbit, you can do it on the app too, but you can also do it on the watch. As you can see right here, you just hold and press and hold that fake button right there, and there's right there something that says screen wake, so you can turn it off, as well as notifications. You turn it off right from there. You can go back to sleep. I think that's very helpful for me because I've honestly came across when I forget to turn that off and I'm just moving around, and just that light just comes right at me in the middle of the night, which is a little bit annoying. On this one, like I said, you need to go back to your application, which is not a deal breaker, but it's a cool feature. I'm gonna turn this back on, and I'm gonna get back. Okay, another feature that I noticed that it's completely different from one another is the timer, and this is very funny because the other day I was playing soccer, and I was supposed to be the one that kept track of time for how long the game was going to last. So I put the timer for both, and I realized that immediately, about 5 to 10 minutes into the game, that as soon as I put the timer on the Huawei, it's a very sensitive screen, and it kicked me out of that. So if you put the timer on the Huawei and you just tap this fake button in the screen, it will kick you out automatically. It won't even ask you if you're sure if you want to get out of it, anything. So what that happens is it caused me to, when I looked at my watch, my Huawei, I didn't have it on, and I wasn't keeping track of the time, which would have been embarrassing if I wouldn't have been wearing the Fitbit. The Fitbit, in comparison, did much better, because as you put the timer on, it just goes on, and then you just forget about it. It locks itself, period. The other one does not lock itself, so it's like the screen is always on as you put the timer, which is something that is kind of annoying, because that's going to drain your battery really bad. However, on the Fitbit, the screen goes off, period. But if you so happen to make a mistake to touch the screen, and you want to exit out of the timer by mistake, of course, it will ask you if you're sure that you want to get out of it. So it will prompt you to tap that button twice consecutively. Otherwise, it's going to kick you back in, and it's going to go back to off, and then you won't get out of it. Also, you have to press and hold to X. You have to press and hold to X out of the timer option. Whereas on the Huawei, I can even show you right now. Let's see. I go here. I go right here. So right here I have it on, and look what happens if I press this button by mistake. Boom, it's gone. It just kicked me out. There's really no record of it. If I go back to the app, it's like I was never there. So if I go back there, I go to the stopwatch, and it's like I was never there. It's in 0. So it's absolutely annoying, especially how sensitive this button is. I hope that if they have any updates to this one, that they make that a little bit more error-proof, so that people cannot make that mistake. I know it's something very small, but for me, it was a little bit annoying. The very last feature that I wanted to review to compare this to is the notifications feature. So you can know, as you already know, you can turn on notifications on your both devices, and it will send you any type of notification that you will get on your phone, like emails, text messages, calls, anything. The only thing that I do not like about the the Charge 3, the Charge 3, the Band 3 Pro is, so you can see you have a notifications message right there. First of all, see, I just tapped it. It's going to take, you see, it took about like 3 or 4 seconds to open up the notifications. And trust me, I've cleared this enough times, but it keeps popping up. So whenever I have a notification on, you see how many notifications I have here. It's a little bit slow. It gets really, really annoying because it's kind of like freezing and not really doing much. If I tap a notification, it just takes forever to open. And then if I want to close it, I pretty much just need to go all the way back to all notifications and clear them all. So it's really, really annoying. Can't really do much there. So the notifications or the messages for the Band 3 Pro, it's absolutely annoying. Not very user-friendly at all. It takes forever to load. I'll tap it again. I'll tap it again. And it's going to take a couple seconds. You see, it's very, very annoying. Whereas on the Fitbit, I'm gonna go all the way back. You just drag down on the screen and you will see your notifications right there. It's much more interactive. You can close notifications one by one. It's really, really easy to use. So notifications here, or messages overall, come across very, very smoothly on the Fitbit as opposed to the Huawei Band 3 Pro. Okay. So I think on features and overall performance, I'll give the Fitbit a plus, a win, because I think it's much better, much more fluent, and it actually gets the job done. The last thing is the actual connectivity and reliability. So connectivity means how does that interact with your phone or with the app on your phone. So clearly there's an app for either an iOS or a Android phone, which I happen to have both the iOS and the Android phone, and I've tried the Fitbit on my iPhone, and I've tried the Huawei Band 3 Pro on my OnePlus. So the difference is, I wouldn't say night and day, but it's a big difference right there. And I will lean more towards the actual Huawei. The Huawei app, I think it's a little bit better. Overall, I think the interaction is much better. There's a lot of other things you can do. You can set up different controls, different settings on your app. The Fitbit app just works. I think it's very visual. It really helps you to, hey, here is what you need. Here's your step. Here's your calories. If you want to change something, go to settings, and it's really few things to do. Whereas on the Android app, for the Huawei, you get many more things to compare, many more things to do, changes a lot of things, which I will give this a plus. Also on the Fitbit, the app, if you haven't opened the app for a long time and you want to go back and sync your phone with your watch, it's going to take at least a minute. I don't know if it's because of my phone or because of my Fitbit, whatever the case may be, but it just takes forever. Seems to take forever to sync with that app and gather all that information that's already on the watch to push it out to the app. So it's a little bit annoying. Also, is really annoying on the Fitbit when, let's say I'm using it, I'm running, I'm playing, whatever, and I do get the notification on my wrist that I've already reached 10,000 steps for the day, which doesn't happen very often. But whenever I see that, I'm like, yes, I made it. But when that happens, I'm like, okay, perfect. So I keep doing my thing, whatever, and when I have the time to go back to my phone and I open the app, I haven't synced it clearly, but it's going to sync it. First of all, it takes forever. Second, that's when he actually takes all that information in, and at that point, I do receive an email. I do receive like 3 or 4 more notifications saying, "Oh, congratulations, you've reached 10,000 steps." When I reached those 10,000 steps about an hour ago. So it's a little bit annoying. I think the functionality and the interactivity of the way the app and the watch interact with each other should be much more flawless, as opposed to you having to sync your phone or your watch with your phone all the time if you want to see real-time data, which is exactly what happens on the Fitbit. On the Huawei, in contrast, is much better. It's live data, live notifications. Anything that's on the watch, it's on the app right away. As soon as you open it, it's immediate. So I think it's a much better connectivity at that point. So I think I need to give the Huawei a plus on that one. The last thing is how reliable these two are. So clearly you have a fitness tracker, you want to use it as a fitness tracker, you want to be able to run, to do whatever you think, and just give you daily stuff. See how well you slept and all that stuff. So reliability, I think the Fitbit is much better at that point. I've seen instances where I haven't even left my bed in the morning, and I look at both watches, and the Huawei has 50 steps, and clearly my Fitbit is at 0. So at that point, I'm like, I haven't made any. I mean, it shouldn't be different. It should be exactly the same. Whether they're tracking arm strokes or movement, I don't know what that is, but it should be fully accurate. I haven't taken any steps. Why is it counting any steps at all? And that's not only the case. It's throughout the day. You see a very inconsistent data flowing from the Huawei app to the app. You look at the app and you're like, and then you compare both steps that you've taken on both watches, and it's completely inconsistent. I really have no way to see which one is really tracking my steps, which one isn't. But just the way that it tells me that I've taken about 50 steps before I get out of bed in the morning. I don't think the Huawei is as reliable as the Fitbit is. So at that point, kind of like lose some trust on that watch, and I really don't know if it's tracking my steps well or not. Another thing that I don't know if it's tracking well is my sleep. I think the Fitbit app that tracks you, or the feature that tracks your sleep, is much better. It's super flawless. You look at your sleep data. It tells you not just how many hours you slept, but also the quality of your sleep. If it was light sleep, deep sleep, how many times did you wake up at night? And they added a new feature. Well, at least it's new for me. It says REM, which is usually associated with if you dreamed during that time. So it even tells you approx how long you had a dream, pretty much, which is pretty good. I think it's pretty amazing how they come up with that. I guess there's some algorithms and technicalities behind that, but it's pretty cool. The Huawei, it could potentially do that too, but you can go back to the app and change that feature. Although when you are about to change that feature, it actually warns you right away, hey, if you turn this on, your battery will drop dramatically. So for me, I'm like, I don't really know. I'm not really sure if I want to do that or not. But the Fitbit, however, it does track my sleep pretty well. Like I said, it tracks everything. And even for my heartbeat, right? So you look at the BPMs, and it's completely different. I mean, it's not reliable. I don't know which one is true or which one isn't, but you get these huge fluctuations between heart rates for both watches, which for me, it's more like, I don't know, I think I'm leaning more towards the Fitbit, just because I'm not really trusting the data that's coming out of my Band Pro 3. And a clear example of that was when I had just finished playing soccer. My heartbeat was at like 150. I was completely soaking wet. I was sweating. I was super hyperventilating, all that stuff. And I looked at my Fitbit and it was telling me right there, 140, 145. It was just constantly right there. But the Huawei Band 3 Pro was very low. It was like at 80. The first time that I did it, then I did it again. It went up to 100, and after I did it again, it kind of like stabilized itself, and it went back to kind of like very similar results to the Fitbit. But it took me 3 tries to really find out what my heart rate was. And what I mean by 3 tries is that's another big difference here. The Fitbit is actually tracking your heartbeat or your heart rate constantly. So I wish I could, hold on. So let me go back here. Let me see where my heart rate is. Yeah, right here. So it's 76. 76, it's constantly tracking it. It's right there, 76 bits per minute. But here on the Huawei, I have to go back and tell the Huawei, hey, I want you to please tell me what my heart rate is. So what it does is actually tells me to stand still, and it takes about a couple minutes to really tell me what my final heart rate is, which is really annoying. I mean, I really want to see my heart rate as I want to go back to my watch and type it. But no, I have to stand still. I cannot move. So if I'm running and I want to track my heartbeat at that point, I have to stop running, stop whatever I'm doing until it actually calculates my heartbeat. So really annoying, not really reliable. I really wouldn't vote for that. But I think overall, I'll definitely go with the Fitbit. So as you can see, it just finished. It tells me 81 BPM, whereas on my Fitbit actually tells me 82. So yeah, pretty close. Just actually extremely close. I was not expecting that, but like I said, fluctuates. If you have a very hard heartbeat, it will kind of like go back and forth. So I don't know. I really can't tell that much about it. So I think in conclusion, for these two fitness trackers, they both have really good things, really good features. Like I said, the design on the Huawei, it's much better. It's slicker, slimmer, feels much better. Sometimes you don't even feel that it's there. So I think on that point, it's much better. But as far as the features, the functionality, and the reliability, I think the Fitbit Charge 3 is a little bit better. I don't know if some people may disagree or may not out there, but I think overall, this is a much better device, much well thought. So definitely, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick with this for a while. I'll try to give it more time to get used to it. And a big difference too is if you're looking at price ranges, this is about twice as much as this one. So I don't know. I mean, if the lack of features and functionality on this one is not a deal breaker for you, and you're willing to spend half the price for this one, then I will go for this. But overall, if you're willing to spend the money, if you're willing to get a very good high quality product that you know is going to last from a very good brand that's actually dedicated to just make fitness trackers and things like that, I will go for this one. So if you have any comments or thoughts, let me know. But I think overall, really wanted to spend some time there. Really went over the time that I wanted, but like I said at the beginning, I could spend like 30 minutes reviewing each one, each feature, each thing that it has. But I think this was overall a very good review. So if you guys agree, let me know. If not, we're good. Hopefully this helps you make an educated decision in the future. If you're thinking about the upcoming holidays, if you have some relative that wants to buy a fitness tracker, give it a try. I wouldn't discourage you or make you drift away from buying either one. But my personal choice is the Charge 3, even though the design, you prefer much better the design on this one. But overall, like I said, the features and the functionality on the Fitbit, I think it's much more reliable. So hopefully this helps you. And thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.